Hello there! This is Parenthesis, and I'm here to talk about all the references, Easter eggs, similarities, and everything that The Last Jedi has with other Star Wars media and with other movies in general. There might be a lot I missed because, of course, I can't see everything. But be sure to let me know what I missed in the comments below. And let's begin with every Easter egg I spotted, every similarity, every reference, every cameo, and so on. In the beginning of the movie, there is a scene in which Luke gives Rey a lesson by basically telling her to focus, to reach out, and she starts naming all the different things that she can fill with the Force on this island. Amongst them, we see a lot of visual representation of those things, and one of them is the island of Actu, and has a similar shot from the sky as the Angry Birds movie has in their introduction of the bird island. I mean, just look at the similarity. It's very similar. On the island of Actu, Rey notices Luke's old X-Wing in the water. This is obviously a reference to when Luke had his X-Wing in the swamp of Dagobah in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I know many people know this, and it's a very popular one, but I mean, it's still very interesting to talk about. Though Emperor Palpatine and Supreme Leader Snoke are very different characters, they still have a lot of similarities. In fact, for those who don't know, Andy Serkis, the actor of Snoke, well, not quite the mocap actor. Basically, he had those dots around his face and special cameras, so he provided the movements of the mouth and everything for the CGI model of Snoke, which would later be edited in post-production. But he did provide most of the movements. He walked in that mocap suit. He provided the voice, and everything basically about Snoke is based on his mocap performance because it was used as basically help. And I can certainly see that Andy Serkis specifically took a lot of traits from Ian McDiarmid's Palpatine. He walks very similarly, he talks very similarly, he moves very similarly, and you can always see that. In fact, I have created a montage of all the similarities between Snoke and Palpatine. Enjoy. In the latest Star Wars game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Luke Skywalker goes into one of the Emperor's observatories on the planet Pileu. There, the deceased Emperor keeps his most precious artifacts. One of the artifacts that Luke was interested in was the compass that led him to Actu. This compass was taken from the observatory by Luke Skywalker in the game, and was later seen in The Last Jedi inside Luke Skywalker's hut. Like, seriously, here it is. In a deleted scene from The Last Jedi, DJ, Finn, and Rose encounter Finn's old stormtrooper friend, who was like his friend before he betrayed the First Order and went to the Resistance side. However, the First Order decided not to spread the information of Finn's betrayal, just to remain the First Order in sort of a loyal and sort of position, so that no one finds out. This stormtrooper actually doesn't know about Finn's betrayal, so it all ends up fine. Now you might be asking, why am I bringing this up as one of the Easter eggs? Well, it's actually a cameo, which means it's someone important or someone who plays in the film. Although it was deleted, the stormtrooper that confronts Finn was actually played by actor Tom Hardy. Now, I'm not familiar with this particular actor, but I think now this might be false information because I didn't do research, but I think he played Bane in The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises, whatever, and he's definitely playing Venom in the new Venom spin-off movie. So that's pretty cool to know. Another cameo in the film, or should I say a voice cameo, was done by the actor Jordan Gordon Levitt when he voiced the character of Slow and Low on Canto Bight. Remember that guy who was really worried about Rose and Finn not parking in the correct place and them ending up in prison? Well, that guy was voiced by this actor. So that's pretty cool to know. But this isn't the only example of a cool Canto Bight cameo. In fact, there is one much cooler. Remember that guy Dobu Sky? Well, the one who mistook BB-8 for a slot machine and was putting money into him. Well, you'll be very excited and probably very interested to know that Dobu Sky and his facial features and the sounds that he makes were all done probably via motion capture by Mark Hamill. His face expressions and the voice, the sounds, it was all Mark Hamill. The actor of Luke Skywalker, I think most of you know. And in fact, I even want to say that the character does look a bit like Mark Hamill. Actually, for me, he does look quite like Mark Hamill. So that's very cool to know. Seeing how Mark Hamill had a part more than Luke Skywalker, it's great. Returning to similarities, early on in the movie there is a scene where Snoke's hologram basically tortures Hux by spinning him around the floor. This might be a reference to how Darth Vader choked Admiral Ozzel through the TV screen in his sort of chamber. But I think that the bigger similarity here is to when Darth Sidious contacted Dooku through a hologram and force choked him. Because this just seems a bit more similar to me than the Darth Vader thing. But they are both really similar, and I am sure that Rian Johnson was trying to sort of rhyme this like a poetry to the other instances where a scene like that occurred. Now, this is an incredibly obvious one, but when Luke dies, or should I say, gives himself to the Force, he sees the two suns on Ahch-To. Just like when he was brought to Tatooine after his birth, he saw the two suns back then. Then when he was growing up, he always watched the two suns wanting to go onto the adventure. It was kind of the thing that actually set up this entire franchise. And so I think that it was genius of Rian Johnson to end this character in such a sort of meaningful and important way. I absolutely loved it, and in fact, when we were in the movie theater, if I remember correctly, in one of the scenes, when we were watching the film with my friend Alexei, you probably saw him here on the channel. Basically, I think he whispered and told me that there were two suns on Ahch-To, like it wasn't the last shot, it was just some shot. And I think he was right, because it was a little detail that I didn't pay much attention to, but it did end up pretty meaningful in the end. Coming back to the similarities, when Rey and Kylo are fighting the Praetorian Guards, Rey throws Kylo a lightsaber and he kills the Praetorian Guard from behind his back. This is a similarity to how in the Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 16, Lawless, Sidious killed Savage Opress in front of Darth Maul, just stabbing him from... Basically, Savage was attacking him from behind, and Sidious just stabbed him with the two lightsabers. I think this is a specific similarity, although this may just be a coincidence. Well, that is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell to stay up to date with all my new content. Oppo and Sisses, out.